the image of the pilgrimage appeared already in the vision statement presented to the Harare Assembly, which I mentioned a few moments before. I quote a few sentences from this vision statement. We are challenged by the vision of a church, the people of God on the way together, confronting all divisions of race, gender, age, or culture, striving to realize justice and peace, upholding the integrity of creation. We journey together as a people freed by God's forgiveness. In the midst of the brokenness of the world, we proclaim the good news of reconciliation, healing, and justice in Christ. We journey together as a people with resurrection faith. In the midst of exclusion and despair, we embrace in joy and hope the promise of life in all its fullness. We journey together as a people of prayer. In the midst of confusion and loss of identity, we discern signs of God's purpose being fulfilled and expect the coming of God's reign. Thus far, the quote. The image of the pilgrimage appeared, in fact, for the first time in WCC discourse in the reports of the Fifth World Conference on Faith and Order at Santiago de Compostela in 1993. The conference took its departure from the statement of the Canberra Assembly in 1991 about the unity of the Church as koinonia, gift and calling. Reflecting about the understanding of koinonia, the conference underlined its dynamic character as a pilgrimage. And I quote a sentence: as we strip ourselves of false securities, finding in God our only and true identity, daring to be open and vulnerable to each other, we will begin to live as pilgrims on a journey, discovering the God of surprises who leads us into roads we have not traveled, and we will find in each other true companions on the way. What are the implications of considering the ecumenical vision through the image of a pilgrimage, a journey into world Christianity? How can the Busan Assembly help to unfold this vision? Let me mention a few indications. First, the pilgrimage is a dynamic and open-ended concept. The way traveled together is more important than the goal, or to use the well-known formulation by Gandhi, the way is the goal. The pilgrimage is essentially about relationships with and among those who journey together. They discover each other as people on the move, inspired by the same goal. They come from different directions and meet each other at unexpected points, but all have left their secure places behind and are prepared to be transformed and renewed through the encounter. This can become a powerful image, a powerful impulse for interpreting afresh what the ecumenical movement is all about. It can liberate the ecumenical movement from its institutional captivity and recapture the original thrust of a renewal movement for and through the churches. It can help us to discover again that the central notions of unity, justice, and peace which describe the goal of the ecumenical movement are in themselves relational and dynamic concepts that signify a way of living together, a praxis rather than a state of affairs or an ideal to be realized. The three important statements that will be before this assembly on unity, on the economy for life, and the ecumenical call to just peace, which have all been included in your reader, all underline this dynamic, relational, and transformative quality of the ecumenical vision. Secondly, the image of the pilgrimage opens the horizon of the assembly beyond the institutional concerns of the WCC. The WCC is still the most representative of those bodies who share in the one ecumenical movement. However, it finds itself surrounded today by a polycentric network of ecumenical partners, churches, church-related organizations, and movements of Christian people on national, regional, and global levels. As a fellowship of churches who have accepted a commitment of mutual accountability and solidarity, the WCC seeks to deepen the experience and manifestations of community among its member churches, and through its ethos of mutual trust and consensus, to live as a sign of what it means to be church today. However, the WCC has also been entrusted with the responsibility to work towards the coherence of the one ecumenical movement in its diverse manifestations. The WCC has been accepted by the different ecumenical partners as the convener of all those engaged in the ecumenical pilgrimage, opening the space for dialogue and cooperation, and offering opportunities to consider together the next stretch on the way. The program of this assembly, through the ecumenical conversations and the Madame, has been shaped in ways that are meant to enable the WCC to serve the churches and the wider ecumenical movement in this double capacity, convening and strengthening the coherence. Thirdly, the image of the pilgrimage finally takes us beyond the structures and institutions of the organized ecumenical movement. The title of the brochure for Busan speaks on an ecumenical journey into world Christianity. It is becoming more and more obvious that the organized ecumenical movement represents only a certain part of world Christianity. And if you read in particular the part, chapter 1 of the Reader, that sets out the changing profile of world Christianity, then you see the realities behind this observation. The member churches of the WCC are a clear minority. The Roman Catholic Church accounts for 1/2 of world Christianity, and the diverse grouping of evangelical, Pentecostal, charismatic, and independent communities have been growing steadily and represent today approximately 1/4 of world Christianity. Equally, the number of faithful in all the member churches of the WCC together. While the WCC has been maintaining close relationships with the Roman Catholic Church since 1965, for the last 4 decades, the ecumenical movement and these evangelical Pentecostal communities have given in to the temptation to consider each other as competitors and quarreled over the correct direction of the way. Since the Harare Assembly, the WCC has undertaken several initiatives to open itself and the organized ecumenical movement up for these potential companions on the way. One result of these initiatives has been the formation of the Global Christian Forum as an open space where representatives of a broad spectrum of churches and interchurch organizations who share faith in the triune God and confess Jesus Christ in his humanity and his divinity can meet to further mutual understanding and respond together to common challenges. The other result has been the beginning of an intensive dialogue with Pentecostal communities as well, as well as with the Evangelical Alliance. Among the fruits of this rapprochement and renewed building of trust are the new mission statement, Together Towards Life, Mission and Evangelism in Changing Landscapes, which will be presented to the Assembly and has been included in chapter 4 of your reader, as well as the statement on the code of conduct regarding Christian witness in a multi-religious world, also part of your reader in chapter 4.